What is IBM Fusion? IBM Fusion is a set of data services for applications modernized with Red Hat OpenShift. Well, what are data services? Let's get into this. The first question we might ask is, do we want to keep the data? We call that data persistence. So that's the starting point of our data service. The next features get into enterprise-grade resilience. So the first thing we'll do is talk about backup and recovery and add disaster recovery. And we have options for Metro DR or Regional DR. These are enterprise-grade capabilities for large organizations who could be growing to a large number of OpenShift clusters and hundreds or thousands of users. But it's software-defined, so you can start very, very small. We've been at IBM Fusion for several years now, so we actually have a lot of what we call innovation features. The first one I'm going to mention is what we call provider mode. Provider mode allows many users of different OpenShift clusters all to see the same storage. So it's shared storage, and if there's 2 or 3 different storage systems, you can see them from all those different OpenShift clusters. So now I don't need to make additional copies of data. I also have the flexibility to grow compute independently of storage. So I can make better decisions on how I spend my capital. The next one I'm going to mention here is Control Tower. Control Tower builds on hosted control planes from Red Hat, and this allows us to spin up an OpenShift cluster quickly and to spin it down quickly and smoothly to repurpose it. So think of an example where you have a dev test infrastructure and maybe you need to repurpose part of it to handle demands for the business at peaks in retail season. Control Tower is a hardened, productized version of this capability that allows you to do this. Most software development shops think you can only get this in the cloud, but this brings you some of that cloud-like capability to an on-premises environment. We also have a more recent functionality that we call Access for SAN. And this allows you to connect existing storage area networks to your modern infrastructure for these modernized applications. This gives you investment protection, right? You don't have to mothball these very expensive SAN infrastructures. You don't need to recopy the data into the modern infrastructure. So you can see this data and you have easy use and wise use of capital. We have also a cataloging capability which allows you to tag and work with unstructured data. This means you can find out where it is and manage it over time. What do you have? Where is it? Who owned it or who created it? It also allows you to tag the data, more importantly, for use in analytics and AI applications. And then the last one I'm going to mention is content-aware storage, and that's for retrieval augmented generation. How do you supplement what you get from third-party models? Third-party models generally use publicly available information. Now you want to take some of your enterprise data, you digitize it, you put it into a vector database, and content-aware storage manages this process for you. It starts with secure access, an access control system of who can see what, so you're dealing with the data appropriately. But even more excitingly, it helps you manage changes to data as the data sets change. So what does this mean? This means you don't have to re-vectorize the database every time. You can move this from being an expensive and time-consuming batch process to doing it in real time. And because we're doing it incrementally, we can use much less expensive infrastructure, fewer GPUs or accelerators. So that is content-aware storage. So lots of innovation that you get in addition to enterprise-grade backup, DR, and persistence. How do we take these data services and give them to customers? Well, we sell this as software. So these are data services. They can run on the cloud, so your major hyperscalers, or it can run on premises. On premises, it can run on bare metal x86 or on top of VMware on top of x86. It also runs, believe it or not, on top of IBM Power servers and IBM Z systems. So now you can have a common set of data services managed by the same people across all of those different platforms. Your hyperscaler, your x86 bare metal, x86 VMware, Power, and Z. We also have an appliance option. So we take that same data services software from IBM Fusion, we put it together with servers, we put it together with storage and networking to connect it all together as a turnkey bundle. It's an engineered appliance for OpenShift applications. These are new, these are different, and now you get a turnkey bundle to get your applications into production quickly. So that's what Fusion software is. Now, when we ask customers why they've bought this, they tell us the number one reason they're buying this is for the benefit of getting faster time to deploy, faster time to value, faster time to production, and it's usually in an area of these new modern applications where they don't have many years of experience and they don't have all the skills needed to do it efficiently. This gives them a bundle that gives them the speed and agility that their users want. Their line of business, their application owners, they want to get into production quickly. They think they can only get that on cloud. Well, now you can do it in the cloud or you can do it on premises. The other reason customers like this is now they get an engineered solution with a single vendor supporting the whole thing. A single vendor builds it. If there's a problem, they call one vendor, which gives them 1-800 number for support at all levels. And then the third thing I'll mention is lifecycle management. Now, you've got one engineering team supporting this in the field for you. So if there are future versions of OpenShift or future versions of your application stack like IBM Watson X, your Cloud Paks, your Maximo, etc., we're going to test all the future versions of OpenShift with all that application stack and give you a single 1-800 number for the engineering and support of the entire solution. So speed, simplicity, and ongoing lifecycle management. Now, if you're new to Fusion and hearing this for the first time, you might wonder, where are these used? And the first one I'm going to mention is artificial intelligence. So most customers don't have the operational model for deploying applications and scaling them as quickly as they would like to. So in our hardware bundle, we have server options that offer you accelerators and GPUs to allow you to run them in inference or allow them even for prompt tuning and prompt engineering. Beyond artificial intelligence is the category of modernization. So these are for modern applications modernized with Red Hat OpenShift. So this could be commercial software, it could be in-house software, or it can be for virtualization. Let's spend a moment on each of these. Commercial software could be something like IBM Cloud Paks, Cloud Pak for Automation Maximo, Cloud Pak for Data, IBM Watson X. In these cases, most customers, they might not have experience with OpenShift, but they're bringing OpenShift into their environment because their application vendor has chosen to modernize on Red Hat OpenShift. SaaS Via is a pretty notable and sizable company that has chosen to run on OpenShift. So you don't want to have a lot of OpenShift expertise on your staff. You just want to get the analysts, their latest reports. You need an operational model for these modern applications. Bingo. Fusion brings that to the table for you. Likewise, people developing in-house applications also need a production grade, production quality system to be able to implement their applications and to be able to scale the acceleration of their digital transformations. So it's one of our most popular use cases, is customers writing their own applications. Then there's this other topic of virtualization, and OpenShift virtualization is emerging as one of the preferred solutions for modern virtualization. With modern virtualization and OpenShift virtualization, you can now run applications that are VM-based and container-based. So you can eliminate an infrastructure. You can simplify your IT. So this gives you a snapshot of what Fusion is, what the data services are, how we roll it out to market, benefits, and some of the top use cases.